started the chapter 12. Here we talk about the hydrodynamic joule bearing. You're using the numerical method to solve it. Why we want to obtain to solve by numerical method? That's because our, for example, for a 2-in case, joule bearing. Okay. First case, infinite short. Mean B small. This is B. B is the length of the joule bearing. Okay. So B or 2RB we define as the lambda K, right? This we call the aspect ratio. 我们定义这一个它的细长比 given by this one. Okay. To be if lambda K is smaller than 0.5, in this case, we call the infinite short. Okay. Others that infinite long. So B is small, very short. Okay. No. I think it's make something wrong. Okay. 2RB divided by B. Okay. So in this case, less than 2. Lambda K is 5. I think they're long. RB. Small. Remember it's 5, right? 5. No. Let me check it. Long kick, okay. Long. The bearing is very long, meaning the B is very large. In this case, lambda K is more than 0.5. Okay, this true if training case we can consider as one dimension. 一维的 bearing. Okay. If it is one dimension bearing, 如果它是一维的一个轴承 we can obtain the analytic solution. We can obtain the numerical analytic solution. 就是解析解，我们可以得到解析解。But if it is median length, OK， 如果我们的这个 B median OK lambda K value。 if your lambda k value is between the 0.5 to 5， 它在5跟0.5之间的话，这种 case this we call the median lambda k， 它就是这个轴承不长又不短。OK， most of bearing they are designed in this range. Very few cases it is infinitely short or infinitely long, right? Okay. So in this case, if it's the median lambda k， 如果你 lambda k 是一个 median 的一个 value， 这个时候你是 2-dimension flow。Your bearing are 2-dimension bearing. In this case, we don't have an analytical solution. 我们没有这个解析解。这个时候之后 by numerical analysis. Okay. Either use the finite difference or by the finite element. Okay, which is available for you to solve it by the numerical method. 用这个数字方法来得到。So it's most popular in your design. For your design, most of case your lambda k is laid between 0.5 to 5. So in this case, you have to solve your problem by numerical method. Okay. So chapter 2, chapter provide you the solution. This solution, I think in the future, when you have a journal bearing design, is very useful. It's very useful. But this chapter provide us some of the information which is productive, is informative for our design. Okay. 这一章所提供的一些资料是真实的，在一般的有限长度的这个轴承 ，OK， 所以是非常有用的，有建设性的，有这个使用的一个价值。所以这个 this chapter I give you the detail, OK， not just the result. This result provide us very good information, very benefit information to our design of the journal bearing. Now another chapter also have a numerical solution for thrust bearing. I hope that you read it by yourself, alright? Because your bearing, not the electronic case, actually is in the median lambda k. In this case, we hope that we can get those results from the chapter. It's very important since that we give it the chart or give some of the plot, some of the curve. Here, in the ordinate, if the dimensions parameter, and in the axis, 在横轴也是 dimensionless. It's very important since that we have some of the curve in the chart or in the figure. In the ordinate or in the axis, all the parameters are expressed in dimensionless form. Even in this case, 如果是你的纵轴跟横轴都是怎么样可以用的时候，都是用无因式来表达的时候 ，you get something that this chart is a universal purpose. What is mean by the universal purpose? 它是泛用的。You don't care about this one for all the journal bearing. Either the bearing you are design maybe not different, maybe different from that result from. Okay. Your look may be different, but we don't care because we show this kind of the parameter to be always in ordinate and in emphasis are dimensionless. 你的纵轴跟横轴如果是一个无因式的，这个时候只要是 journal bearing， 你不管你的轴径多少，转速多少 ，I don't care， 都可以用，都可以用。So in our design, we hope that we can get this kind of the chart or plot. Because this kind of chart or we don't need to do any experiment again. 我不需要再做任何实验。We can use it directly for our purpose. Alright? 所以我们很多的一个 design book in our design handbook, we wish that our ordinate or our emphasis, they are expressed to be the dimensionless parameter. So in chapter 12, you will find all the chapters. Most of them, they are expressed in dimensionless form. 它们都是用无因式的，所以它是可以用的，只要是 journal bearing. So in the future, when you have a design for your journal bearing, please read this one, and then you take this course, and then you have a very careful in this chapter. And then for the thrust bearing, you have a numerical solution for the thrust bearing. I hope that you read it by yourself. Okay? But this one, I tell you how to solve it. Okay? In the real case. Okay? So this is 12. Alright, so in our case, if we use numerical method, your solution are two-dimensional. Your P is function of x and y. 你的压力是 x 跟 y 的函数 ，alright? And then U bar is average of the UA and the UB. Our UB is the journal or rotating shaft velocity, linear velocity. This angular velocity we call the omega b, alright? And then the outside is sliver. In general, for our journal bearing, our sliver is kept in stationary. Okay, 它是静止的。But in some of the robot or something that other case, it's not always that the outside sliver is stationary. Okay? It's also something they have a move, two body move each other. 所以在这个 journal bearing 我会在这个外面给它固定，但是你在用在其他的地方 ，nobody can guarantee that the outside always to be the stationary. 它也会动。这个时候 they have a chart. They have the table, right? A few previous chapter, they have the table. Give you different kind of design. We find the function are quite different, right? So in our case, outside to be the station. So 我们的 omega b, omega a 是零的就是静止的。When you know the journal rotating inside of the sleeve, they have a eccentricity. 有一个偏心量。This eccentricity for any rotating body, you will find the shaft center and the sleeve center, they have the distance. This distance we call the eccentricity, 偏心量. And then we have a clearance called the C. All right, clearance. This clearance is very, very important. If you design this C, is by your institution, by your institutive, I say that your design may not good. 这个细致的设定 you have to base on something. I will tell you the detail how to determine the C. Okay, this C value is very important. It's not given by yourself directly. 你不能凭着直觉给他。这个是在所有的产业界 I have made a lot of factory. Okay, factories. They find that they give the C without give me any explanation that why he choose the value of that C. They just copy other people or just give it his directive. I will say it is wrong because the C value they give to some of the damage. One is that I will talk about it later. Your vibration. If C is not properly chosen, in this case, you have your vibration will be high, will be large. Another that maybe the journal will contact with your sleeve and then cause the wear. 你这两个面设计不好，它会磨损。为什么会磨损？等一下我们再讲。Okay, so more detail why seed is so important and how to choose the seed is the most important issue of this chapter. Okay, so this is we'll talk about later. Okay. So we have the two-dimensional flow. Now,这上去了，
这上面啊，右边，
下一个，不是上去了吗？是这上去。Okay, all right. So in here we have the x equal to rb. Why? In here we have a h in this form. In this chapter, we use the h is c times 1 plus epsilon for sin phi. In this case, your phi equal to 0 is defined after the location of maximum basicness, right? In this case, phi is start from this point, this position, phi equal to 0, and then in this way. So this is converging area. This is a divergent area. And it is rotating in the counterclockwise, not counterclockwise, 它是顺时钟在转。所以你的这一正压 your positive pressure is created like this way. From somewhere of in the converging region, they start a positive pressure in somewhere. And then it is terminate in the divergent area in somewhere of the divergent area. Okay. So we try to solve the pressure position, positive pressure position, and then there's magnitude, and then there's location. Okay, right? So this is what we talk about. Okay. Here, we'll put this one into here, then we'll obtain this one. And then H is C1 plus epsilon cosine phi. So this plus means that our phi equal to 0 is start from the position with the maximum fin thickness. If it is a negative value, if this is negative, in this case, we started our phi is from the small fin thickness. Okay, so it's not a spelling error. Okay, or it's miswriting. No, this depend on your phi. Which point is the phi equal to 0? You can start from the maximum fin thickness. In this case, this is plus. If you start from the minimum fin thickness, then here you have a negative value. Okay? So it's not wrong. Not wrong. Okay? This depends on your definition for your phi equal to 0 position. Okay. So we have this one, put it here. Here, alright? Then we obtain this one. Then this one is always the two-dimensional Jordan-Bailey. Can use this equation. Then we solve it by numerical method. The numerical method here is use finite difference, but I think you can use finite element also. You can also use the finite element because there's a lot of software are developed by the finite element. Okay, so it's very powerful and it's very convenient for you to obtain the solution. Okay, so this is here after that year they solved it by the finite difference, but in the modern time you can use finite element. I think finite element is more powerful than the finite difference. Right? Okay. Right. This is my arrow. Okay. I started in United States. In that time, we don't have the finite element software. 我那个时候没有那个 finite element 的 software. So most people developed it by the finite difference. But the finite element is very powerful and very efficient in the modern time. But you have to pay the money. Okay? We use the software. Okay? Then here, this is we call the initial point of the part pressure. This point, we call the initial point, initial position or initial location of our particle pressure. Here, your particle pressure is terminate at this point. So here, this point, we call the terminating location of particle pressure. Okay. So, very important is that how to determine this point. Okay. For the previous chapter, we have determined the terminant point by three kinds of the solution. One is we call the full summer phase solution. The second is we call the half summer phase solution, summer phase boundary condition. The third, we call it the Reynolds boundary condition. So this point, if we use the numerical method to solve it, 如果你用数值方法去解 we will strongly suggest you to use the Reynolds boundary condition because it can be solved by the Reynolds boundary condition without any problem. Okay, without any difficulty. Okay, so you can also obtain the high precision solution. Okay, so here is by the Reynolds boundary condition. to solve this problem, this position. This Reynolds boundary condition, let me review it. Very simple. P equal to 0, and dP partial P partial phi equal to 0. That's called the Reynolds boundary condition. For dominant. If your pressure reach these two boundary conditions, they have a cavitation. So after this point, they have found that there's a lot of air bubble behind this point, okay, over the surface. It looks like this one. Here's the length B. Now after this big point, a terminal point, we have the raw fields look like this one. Air stretch behind the terminal location. Okay. All right. So this the point after this point, they have a lot of stretch, air stretches over the B length， 它一条条的条纹，这个地方是有。So in the yellow region, it's still oil. But in some region, they create some of the cavitation, I mean the air bubble, after the terminating location. Okay. All right. So this is we use the Reynolds boundary condition as this one. Okay. In the numerical method, this here. Give us the story about how to solve it, okay? And then the detail to solve use the numerical method. The numerical method has been mentioned in the previous chapter. You can read it, okay? But maybe I don't have the copy for you, all right? Okay, if you have this book, you will find some of chapter just describe how to use the numerical method to solve the equation, okay? Right. 我没有给各位 copy. Okay. Here, eccentricity ratio. We call the eccentricity divided by our clearance. Then C here, it is just the clearance. And then we'll talk about in the later section how to determine the C accurate. Okay, accurate. Okay. 你怎么样准确的去来决定你的C值 ？So C, I repeat again, you cannot choose it arbitrarily. It is based on something. Otherwise, your performance will be not the best one. And then also you have cause some of the problem. Okay, if your C is not properly chosen. Okay. The second is the angular extent of the journal. Your belly, 你的轴承 may be full or partial. In the full journal belly, the motion is very precise. The motion is in the high precision. 你的运动如果要很准确的话 you use the full journal belly. Of course, this kind of journal belly is the cost. Okay. 它是成本是比较高的，cost is high. For the partial, it means that you just care about whether this bearing, for example, the whole journal bearing. Most of the area, we cannot create any possible pressure. So in this case, if we use the full journal bearing, maybe you don't care about the precision. 也许你不太在乎这个运动 ，you just care about the data. You can create the possible pressure efficiently. 你只在乎说你的这一个正压产生在一个最好的一个状况。In this case, maybe you use the partial bearing. Partial journal bearing means that well, bearing is just like this way. We don't have this portion. This we call the partial arc. Alright? For example, some of the conveyor just move something, move some heavy body. Okay. In this case, we don't care about the motion is in high precision. In this case, you can use the partial arc. Alright? Okay. But if high precision like the electric fan or some of the rotating machine, in this case, you have to use the full journal bearing. Okay? Aspect ratio. Okay? So in this case, we have the three parameters in the journal bearing. Okay, all right. This is that we design. We use these three kind of we have the choice in these three parameters. Okay. Now, as I have mentioned that all the parameters in the chart or in the plot, hope that in the ordinate 在纵轴 in the axis 在横轴 they are expressed in the dimensionless parameter. If it is dimensionless parameter, then this chart, this figure are universal purpose. You can use all the journal bearing. Either you use the lubricant or your material or your size of the journal bearing are different, but you can use it because it's general purpose, universal purpose. Okay, 所以它是泛用的时候 we hope that we can define some of the parameters here. Here we call the dimension load. This WR is the load. This load, you have to obtain the magnitude and then this direction. Okay, 你在得到这个 load, there's two things you have to care about. The first is the magnitude. The second is just the direction, load direction. Okay, because your journal bearing, the design of your bearing totally depends on the magnitude and then your direction. Okay, very important. So before you have the design, you have to make analysis from the dynamic or mechanism or you use the dynamic or kinematic to analyze your loading condition to determine the magnetic load of your load magnitude and then your direction of the load. Okay, so that is very important. So we have the dimensions load. The others we call the phi. Capital phi, 就大的 phi. The capital phi, how to define it? We are load, maybe in this way. This is an external applied load. 这是外施的力量。The direction and then the magnitude, as I have mentioned, you have to determine first the direction, and then this direction, and then they have an angle between the center line and then your load direction. They have the angle. This angle we call the phi bar. Phi bar. Okay, this phi bar is just we call the attitude angle. 姿态角. The attitude angle, if you can determine the very important that is that your entrance of your oil pump into the barrel, you can determine the location. 你的这个进油口的这个位置 ，OK, the inlet of the oil from the outside, the location, how to determine this file give you the information. 这个 file 可以让你进油的时候得到的这个值，让它怎么样？这个得到最好的压力。OK, in general, this is conversion area. Our entrance, 我们的一个进油口，这个地方 ，this is oil pump into the conversion region. 这是油的入口。This entrance may be the whole stack 和孔的一个形式。Sometimes we use the groove style. What does it mean by groove? Groove is look like this one. Groove 就是槽。Sorry. 进去的槽，它沿着这个我们叫 groove。加 groove 加 OOV 来，加 OOV 我加 OOV，OK， 槽是加 OOV 来，加 OOV， 就是一个槽。外面有油胖打给它 ，OK。So how to determine the position of this oil group is very important. 加 OOV 来 ，Anybody can tell me is OO, double O, or is single O? You mean the entrance of the oil provided by the pump, oil pump. OK, is groove 一个槽，油槽。油沟 ，OK，or is in a hole style 圆的孔洞。So you disassemble this your machine, you'll find that your barrel they have either the hole or groove style， 它是油的孔或油沟。OK, if this position is a misdesign, your design is not correct in this case. I guarantee your shaft very easy to be damaged. Okay. Even you put a lot of lubricant because you how your design is in the wrong position. So how to determine this fine angle? Very important. Very important. Alright? So in this case, in general, we have our entrance of the oil pump into the conversion area very near the H maximum region. Okay, so they have a I talk about yeah. 2O, right, 2OO, GROO, groove, 槽，加 OOV， 这个槽放的位置很重要 ，OK。So you cannot, choose the position of your hole or groove in an arbitrary way, OK。You cannot choose the position in an arbitrary way. If you have the wrong design, either you put a much lubricant inside of you'll find no lubrication behavior. There's a lot of problem in the factory occur or happen this kind of situation. All right, that's because you are loaded, and then your load direction, and then your projection of your entrance of the oil pump into the conversion area are something wrong. Okay, are some problem. Okay, so in this case, now. You can put it either to be the groove or a hose, all right? Very near the center line. And then here we call the conversion area. Okay, so when you have put some of the oil into this conversion area, in this case, this value we call the Q of S. What is the S? S mean equal to QS equal to the side leakage. Why have side leakage? When oil flow into the conversion area, you'll find that the path or passage width, okay, becomes small and small, become narrow and narrow. In this case, they have an extra oil, flow out of the two ends of this journal belly. 你这个油进来的时候，你要发觉通道越来越少了。这是这个油怎么样 ？Very leaked outside of the this belly from the two ends of this belly. OK， 它会也跑出去，所以等要回来的时候。Return to this phi equal to 0 position, we call the Q of B. QB is the oil flow rate. Back to the conversion region. Alright, so they have a flow back to the original position. You'll find that your value QB not equal to Q. This will define the Q because we have the Q definition showing there. 我没有 Q。First Q, first QB. QB is just, they have some leakage. And after the leakage of this one location, you'll find that the oil flow back to this position. You'll find that this value we call the QB. Of course, this QB becomes small because they have a side leakage. 我们有的两边跑掉了油量，所以回去以后这个 QB 变少了。And then we have to supply the oil. We call the QS. QS plus QB equal to 2Q. So Q equal to QB plus the QS. This S is oil you supply from the pump. 你从这个 pump 提供给它的油 ，to to refill the oil to be sufficient quantity to give the another location. OK， 所以这样的一个情况，这个地方的量，这个是 QS， this is QS, right? And then this is QB. We call it QB. QB plus QS, then there is a new quantity. This new quantity is provided, is just provided to the conversion area. This we call the Q. So Q equal to the summation of, is the sum of the QB plus the QS. Okay. So we have to determine the QS, and then we can determine the QB. Okay, so the quantity you have to supply by the pump, you can determine. If this oil is provided too much, 这个油如果提供的太多 ，you have the oil whirl behavior， 有螺旋的效应 ，mean that rotated they have instability in rotation. If your oil is provided too much, okay. If you provided the QS not enough, is insufficient case， 就提供的油不够的时候 ，you'll find your load, your positive pressure become low， 你产生的正压 will create to be low， 变得比较低。In this case, this pressure cannot support your external applied load. Then your lubrication behavior will down. Okay, will your performance will down. Okay, will decrease. Okay. 所以这个油的补充 ，oil quantity you supply by the pump, oil pump, is also very important. So we have two key issues. One is the projection of the oil into this conversion region. The second, what is the quantity you have to supply to determine the QS? So one key issue. All right? These two factors determine your performance of your journal value. Okay, all right. So that's very important. Okay. So here, attitude angle allow us to determine the H maximum position. And then your entrance is the location of your entrance of oil is very close to your H maximum. Okay? So how to determine the position of your H maximum? You cannot observe or detect by any machine or any instrument. Impossible. You have to know what is the direction of your WR. If WR is null, if the direction of your WR is null, and then you also determine your phi angle, attitude angle, then you know the position of your H maximum. If the H maximum position is null, then you give your entrance of the oil to be very near to this center line. Okay? So step by step to determine your right position. Okay? So you take this course. Why you take this course? Not just get the grade or get the score or any means list. You just need to use it for your design. Okay, so that is very important. In the lecture, you can ask me any question. But how do you know? Focus your mind. How to design your good performance in your building. That's very important because it's a very practical case that you work in the outside. Somebody or your boss ask you to give the design. This is very, very popular. All right? Okay. So this I will continue next. Okay. We have a 10 minutes break here.